last day of the cottage. We're heading back to the city today, and the snow is out of control. We have, I think, like over 2 feet of snow, and yeah, it comes up like almost to under my kneecap, and none of our snow boots are high enough, so the snow is just like bucketing at our feet. But it is divine, absolutely divine. It looks like straight out of a Christmas card. We were out on the pond again yesterday, but the snow is like so compacted on the ice that it feels like you're just walking on land. It's crazy. But we've been up here visiting and cleaning and doing our little routine. We were actually going through, my mom and I were looking through some of the bookshelves here, my grandparents' bookshelves, and we've been on a bit of a Niall Williams kick after both reading This Is Happiness last year and loving it. And it was the first book I had read by him, and I wasn't really familiar with his name or any of his other work. And I gave This Is Happiness to my mom. She read it, fell in love, and when we were here, I think last month, she found another book by him, The Four Letters of Love, or something like that. She finished it yesterday, couldn't say enough positive things about it. I'm dying to read it, but I'm in the middle of a really long book and probably can't read that for a few weeks. But she read The Four Letters of Love, said it was one of the most beautiful things she's ever read. She can't wait for me to read it so that we can talk about it. And then yesterday we were looking through more shelves and we found another book by Niall Williams, something about art is in heaven, or something art in heaven. And my grandma bought it in Galway at some point, and she was a signed edition by Niall Williams. So my mom started that yesterday, and I'm like, I want to steal it. I want to read it so badly, but my mom is in the middle of it now. But then we were doing some Googling and realized that a lot of the books that my mom read like years and years ago were by Niall Williams and his wife, Christine Breen, who moved to, I think it's County Clare. He's Irish, but I believe Christine Breen is an American woman. And they moved back to Ireland, and they wrote a bunch of, I think, nonfiction books about living in a small cottage in Ireland and small town Irish life. So my mom was like familiar with those, but didn't put two and two together at the beginning if that was the same author. So I'm going to try to find those as well. I'm going to enjoy the last few minutes of sunrise and then head back inside and change all of the clothes on my bottom half because I am frozen. But it's like, you kind of feel like you're the only person in the world for just like a hot second. And it's just like a really, this is my favorite place to be, to look out and just, yeah. I mean, there's nothing better. I just got my fabric swatches in the mail for my wedding veil because I'm getting it made for me because my dress I got secondhand. I bought it at a vintage market and it has like very old and more like an ivory fabric, so they're trying to match it as best as they can. I don't know. So this is a piece of my dress, and then this is the tulle. That's crazy. It has been many weeks since I started this video, but I'm getting a surge of energy today. So I'm about to head out for a walk. We've literally traversed seasons. In this video, it all of a sudden feels like spring today, so that's why I'm attempting to get outside after work. But for all of the weeks that I have been attempting to record this video, I have been reading the same book. I've been reading Middlemarch, and honestly, the end is not yet in sight. I have been reading this for a book club with my cousins, and we're meeting in 4 days. And in my edition, I'm on page 432 of 688. So I definitely have to really lock in and push through over the next few days to get this done. I am in a rhythm with it. I'm mostly enjoying my time. I've kind of now sunk into the world and into our characters' lives. If you know me, you know that I love a big chunky book. I like to sit with the book for quite some time, get really comfortable with our characters and with our story. But even I will say that I look forward to reading something different. I think I've just been, I don't know, I've been enjoying it, but also a little bit feeling stuck and just like craving something new. Some days I'm reading like 3 to 5 pages, some days reading 40 pages. So it depends, but this is taking me like a really, really, really long time, it feels like. And while I do feel like I'm in a rhythm now, I am interested in our character stories. I do think it's perhaps overlong. Some of the bits just aren't really adding anything to the story, but again, because it's meant to be so immersive, it's creating a place and space and the people who inhabit it in the 1830s. I feel that. I feel like I've sunk in to our characters' lives. I feel very familiar with them. I think I'm less interested in like the politicking of some of these men, like Mr. Brooke, but I am interested in Dorothea's story, in Mary Garth's story. I'm interested in like a handful of the characters. But yeah, I mean, it's a master of plotting, but it doesn't really have that like humorous charm that some of the Dickens I've read recently have had, and that's like made me really fall in love with some of these like longer Victorian novels. But I am enjoying it. We'll see. I am really trying to finish it in the next few days because I'm excited to remember what it is to read something else. I'm also listening to a Dickens right now for another book club, and I think that's why I'm just not getting like that much variety in my books right now. Even though like the Dickens that I literally just started yesterday, and it is already quite different tonally. It's has that wit, thus far, I'm listening to Nickleby on chapter 2, so I can't speak too much to it, but I'm just, yeah, I'm ready for something else. I thought we would end this video with the book haul because I just got a package in the mail. I mentioned a couple months ago that for Christmas my parents got me a book subscription to Haywood Hill bookstore in London, and the subscription is essentially for 1 calendar year, and every other month you get 2 books in the mail, like a little book gift, and they personalize it to your tastes, to your preferences. So I had a phone call with one of the people who worked at the bookstore in the very beginning of January, and she asked me a bunch of questions, like my favorite book from 2024, my favorite author, what I like to read, certain genres, any pet peeves, do I pay attention to literary prizes, like a bunch of different things. And I got my first package end of January. I haven't even read any of the books yet. I've basically read nothing except Middlemarch for all of these weeks, and I still have about 100 pages to go, so that's my priority for this evening. The first package that I got from the subscription was a couple months ago, and I got an Ali Smith Gliff, which is a really interesting book. It's a signed edition, which is cool. I've heard a lot about Ali Smith. I've never read anything by her, I don't think. I have one of her books from the Seasonal Quartet, but she's just not an author that, like, based on what I know about her, I was like gravitating towards. But this sounds very odd, a little haunting. So I'm excited to read this one. It's also like a really beautiful edition, and basically this is the February book, I guess, but they send you like a little bookmark for each month. So this was the February pick, and then the January pick would then be The Great When by Alan Moore. So this is another really pretty cover. This is like is it magical realism? So the year is 1949. The city London, amidst the smog of the capital, is Dennis Knuckleyard, a hapless 18-year-old employed by a second-hand bookshop. One day, on an errand to acquire books for sale, Dennis discovers a novel that simply does not exist. It is a fictitious book, a figment from another novel, yet it is physically there, in his hands. How? He has stumbled on a book from The Great One. And it's a pretty long blurb, but it sounds really interesting. On the back, it's like blurbed as a modern Dickensian type novel. So I'm excited about this one. This has the little January bookmark. This reminds me of A Shadow of the Wind and just like other things that I've read recently that I've liked. So I have high hopes for this. Like I said, I'm currently listening to a Dickens. I have gotten through like a lot more of it since I last mentioned that, and I am loving it. Absolutely loving it. It's like giving me the same feelings that I got when I started our mutual friend, just like absolutely falling head over heels in love. So those are the 2 books that I got in January. And I just got my next one in the mail because it's officially March, and I wanted to open them because I have no idea what they are, and it's very exciting. And they package it really nicely. I think this is a great gift for someone. So yeah, they package it really beautifully, and I had like a really lovely phone conversation with the bookseller all those weeks ago. We ended up like having very similar taste. We talked a lot about speculative fiction and certain authors that she was reading and recommending. Yeah, it was just like a really nice little chat time. This is a little soaking wet. I guess it got a little beat up on its journey, so hopefully the book is that. I don't know if it's all hardbacks, but maybe that's part of it. Ooh. Okay. So interesting. Oh, I literally couldn't read it for a second. I don't know what I was doing. It's called Water Moon by, this is not an effective way for me to read the author's name. So the first book is Water Moon by Samantha Sotto Yambao. This is the cover. It's very interesting. So yeah, another hardback. I guess that's part of it. So it's a spellbinding journey into a magical world. Got my April. I guess I skipped March, but right to April. On a back street in Tokyo lies a pawn shop, but not everyone can find it. Most will only see a cozy ramen restaurant, and just the chosen ones, those who are lost, will find a place to pawn their life choices and deepest regrets. Hana Ishikawa wakes on her first morning as its new owner to find the pawn shop ransacked, the shop's most precious acquisition stolen and her father missing. And then into the shop stumbles a charming stranger, quite unlike other customers, for he offers help instead of seeking it. Very interesting. I'm excited about this one. And then the second book is another really beautiful cover, Under the Eye of the Big Bird. Wow. A sad, beautiful depiction of a perishing world. Great. Okay, then we have our March bookmark. So this blurb is, welcome to the distant future. Humans are on the verge of extinction and have settled in small tribes across the planet under the observation and care of the mothers. Some children are made in factories, some children are made in factories from cells of rabbits and dolphins. Some live by getting nutrients from water and light, like plants. The survival of the race depends on the interbreeding of these and other alien beings, but it is far from certain that connection, love, reproduction, and evolution will persist among the inhabitants of this faltering new world. Unfolding over geological aeons, Under the Eye of the Big Bird is at once an astonishing vision of the end of our species as we know it, and a meditation on the qualities that, for better or worse, make us human. Wow, this one sounds really, really good. It also looks like a standard size book, but the copy is pretty spread out. And it looks like it might be a shorter book than it appears at first glance. But yeah, this one sounds really interesting, and both of these I've never heard of. So I think that's part of what you're getting from this subscription is somebody who is doing a little bit of digging into what's new, and maybe not getting as much press or publicity or just not being spoken about, and bringing those books to you and helping you discover new to me authors. So yeah, I'm really excited about this, especially this one. Again, I'm not sure when exactly I will get to these. I mean, to be fair, my book club is in 2 days. So for better or worse, I have to finish Middlemarch very soon, and then I'm really excited to pick my next read. I think I might choose one of these four, even though I did get another book recently. Let me show you. In January, I was also doing some book shopping with my cousin, and I got Tar Baby, a used edition of Tar Baby by Toni Morrison, because I've just been absolutely loving her books recently, and I, jump in and out of her work every couple of years, but I got that one. It's a really beautiful edition. But then my cousin was talking about this book that I had never heard of, but that she recommended to somebody, or she heard about in some confusing way that I don't remember. But this is called Event Factory by Renee Gladman, and it's an itty bitty sliver of a book, which is not always what I gravitate towards, but she just spoke really highly of it, and I think it's actually the first in a series. I don't know how connected they are, but there's something happening with a series, and it's part of a larger story. But this one sounded really, really cool. So a linguist traveler arrives by plane to Ravika, a city of yellow air in which an undefined crisis is causing the inhabitants to flee. Although fluent in the native language, she quickly finds herself on the outside of every experience. Things happen to her, events transpire, but it is as if the city itself, the performance of life there, eludes her. Setting out to uncover the source of the city's erosion, she is beset by this other crisis, an ontological crisis, as she struggles to retain a sense of what is happening. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but this just sounds really interesting, and it might be nice to have a bite-sized book amidst these chunkier reads. So I might read this one, but then of the 4 books that have come to me through the subscription, this right now is, I'm most excited to get to this one first, so I think I'm going to jump into these 2. But yeah, I'm excited to read something speculative, apocalyptic, dark, all of the things. Even though I have been enjoying my time with Middlemarch, I'm excited to dip my toe in some of the stories that I've really been missing and craving a little bit. Those are the books that I wanted to share with you. I think I'm going to wrap up this video here, get my book, and keep chugging along because I have a deadline, and I really hate when I finish a book after a book club meeting, even if there's like no spoilers attached to the book. It irks me because after the book club it's like a clean break and it's the next thing. So I'm gonna go focus on that and put these books away. Thank you so much for being here. I hope to be back at some point soon, and I will catch you in the next one.